Once upon a time in a land far away, the kind and gentle Snow White lived in a cozy cottage on the edge of an enchanted forest. Snow White had a special gift. She could talk to animals. Every morning, she would sing sweet melodies that echoed through the trees, and soon, her enchanted woodland friends would gather around her. There was Buzzy the hummingbird, Fluffy the rabbit, Chirpy the squirrel, and Wily the fox. Snow White loved her forest friends, and they loved her back dearly. One chilly autumn day, Fluffy the rabbit hopped up to Snow White with concern in his big round eyes. "Winter is coming, Snow White. We need to get ready," he said. Snow White smiled gently. "Don't worry, Fluffy. Let's work together and make sure everyone has what they need." With that, Snow White and her animal friends set to work. Buzzy the hummingbird buzzed around, helping gather tiny seeds and nectar. Chirpy the squirrel collected nuts and acorns and stored them in the cozy hollows of trees. Wily the fox, being the cleverest of them all, found the best hiding spots for food, safe from the winter's chill. Snow White, meanwhile, sewed little blankets from fallen leaves and soft moss to keep her friends warm. As they worked, Snow White's laughter filled the air, and her warmth made even the coldest day feel cozy. One evening, as snow began to gently fall, Buzzy the hummingbird zipped over to Snow White. "We have a surprise for you," Buzzy buzzed excitedly. The animals led Snow White deep into the forest, to a place she had never seen before. Suddenly, they arrived at a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. The trees here sparkled with frosty magic, and a gentle glow lit the area. Snow White gasped in amazement. "This is the enchanted glade," Wily the fox explained. "It's a special place that grants wishes and brings joy to those with pure hearts." Snow White closed her eyes and made a wish. When she opened them, the glade shimmered even brighter, and she felt a sense of incredible happiness. She realized that the greatest magic of all was the love and friendship she shared with her forest friends. From that day on, Snow White, Buzzy, Fluffy, Chirpy, Wily, and all their woodland friends visited the enchanted glade often, creating wonderful memories and celebrating their enduring bond. And so, the story of Snow White's forest friends became a cherished tale of kindness, adventure, and the magic of friendship. In a serene village nestled by the river, lived a spirited young girl named Pocahontas. One starry evening, as the moon hung high in the sky, Pocahontas heard a mysterious whisper. It was the night wind, carrying tales of distant lands and hidden mysteries. Curiosity sparkled in her eyes as she followed the gentle whispers through the dense woods. The wind led her to a secret, ancient forest, unknown to her before. This forest was different. It only awoke when the moon's light danced upon it. As she stepped into the enchanted woods, the trees whispered back to the night wind, their leaves shimmering like silver. Glowing fireflies formed pathways, illuminating the rich tapestry of the forest. Pocahontas felt a sense of belonging as she delved deeper. To her astonishment, she met the spirits of the forest. They were shimmering figures made of light and mist, each holding a piece of the forest's wisdom. The spirits had been restless for ages, waiting for a guide to help them find peace. Encouraged by the night wind, Pocahontas decided to help. The spirits shared their stories of old with her, tales of grand celebrations, of harmony between humans and nature, and of a time when the forest was vibrant and alive. Pocahontas listened intently, understanding that these memories needed to be honored for the spirits to rest. She promised to share these stories with her people, to inspire a new bond with the ancient forest. That night, she danced with the spirits, weaving through the moonlit glades, rejuvenating the forest with her joy and spirit. When the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the spirits began to fade. They thanked Pocahontas for listening to their tales, and for promising to keep their memories alive. As a token of gratitude, they gave her a pendant, glowing with the essence of the forest. Pocahontas returned to her village with the pendant resting over her heart. She shared the stories of the night wind and the ancient forest with her people, rekindling their love and respect for nature. The village began to cherish the forest, visiting it under the moonlight to feel its magic. And every night, Pocahontas would wear her pendant and listen to the night wind, knowing that she was now the guardian of the ancient forest's secrets. The harmony between the village and the forest was restored, and the spirits rested peacefully, knowing that their stories would live on forever. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there was a small pond bathed in moonlight. This pond was home to many magical creatures, but none was as curious as a frog named Frederick. Frederick wasn't just any frog. He was the Frog Prince, who had been transformed into his current form by a mischievous witch. One warm moonlit night, Frederick decided to embark on a journey across the pond in search of a way to break the spell. As he hopped along the lily pads, he sang a little tune to keep himself company. Suddenly, he heard a soft, melodious voice singing back. It was Elara, the fairy of the pond. "Hello, Frederick," Elara said, her wings twinkling like stars. "Where are you going this fine night?" Frederick explained his plight and his quest to regain his princely form. Elara listened patiently and then smiled kindly. "You have a good heart, Frederick. Patience and kindness are the keys to breaking your spell. Let me help you." Elara waved her wand, and a path of gleaming pebbles appeared, leading to the heart of the pond. "Follow this path," she instructed. "There you will meet friends who will aid you." The next creature he met was Oliver, the wise old turtle. Oliver looked up slowly and smiled. Following Elara's guidance, Frederick continued along the pebble path. "Greetings, Frederick. Elara told me you might come. Remember, every step you take with a kind heart brings you closer to your true self." Frederick thanked Oliver and continued on his journey. As he skipped along, he came across a family of fireflies. Their lights flickered brightly, and they danced around him in circles. "We will guide you through the darkest parts of the pond," they said in unison. Illuminated by the fireflies' glow, Frederick finally reached the center of the pond. There, he found a magnificent lotus flower. As he approached, the lotus opened and out stepped Luna, the moon spirit. "Frederick," she whispered, "your journey has shown your true character. It's time for you to regain your form." Luna waved her hand, and a gentle breeze enveloped Frederick. The wind swirled around him, lifting him up into the air. As the magic took hold, his froggy form began to change. With a burst of moonlight, Frederick transformed back into a handsome prince. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he thanked Luna and all his new friends. "Remember, kindness and patience can transform any challenge," Luna reminded him. With that, Frederick returned to his kingdom, where he ruled wisely and kindly, always recalling the magical night and the friends who taught him valuable lessons. And so the Frog Prince lived happily ever after, always by the moonlit pond where magic thrived. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful princess named Lila. Her hair was as golden as the morning sun, and her eyes sparkled like the stars in the night sky. Despite having everything she could ever want, Princess Lila always felt that something was missing. One day, as she wandered through the royal garden, she came across an old stone well. Feeling curious, she peeked over the edge and, to her astonishment, saw a little green frog sitting at the bottom. "Hello there, little frog," Princess Lila called out, her voice echoing in the well. The frog looked up and replied, "Hello, Princess Lila. I am not just any frog. I am a prince under a wicked spell. Only the kiss of a true friend can free me." The princess felt sympathy for the frog and decided to help him. She gently lifted him out of the well and gave him a kind, warm kiss on his froggy cheek. Suddenly, a magical whirlwind surrounded them, and in a flash of light, the frog transformed into a handsome prince. "Thank you, Princess Lila," said the prince, bowing gracefully. "You have broken the spell, and for that I am forever grateful. From this day forward, I promise to be your loyal friend." The princess and the prince became the best of friends, sharing many adventures and always supporting each other. Princess Lila realized that the friendship she found with the prince was the missing piece she had always longed for. And so they lived happily ever after, in a kingdom filled with love and laughter. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two stepsisters who treated her very badly. They made her do all the chores and never allowed her to have any fun. Despite the hardships, Cinderella remained gentle and optimistic. One day, the king announced a grand ball at the royal palace. All the young ladies in the kingdom were invited, and Cinderella's heart filled with hope. But her stepmother forbade her from going and destroyed her dress. Heartbroken, Cinderella went to the garden and cried. Suddenly, her fairy godmother appeared. With a wave of her magic wand, she transformed Cinderella's rags into a dazzling gown and her worn-out shoes into glass slippers. A pumpkin became a beautiful carriage, and mice turned into horses to pull it. Before she sent Cinderella off to the ball, the fairy godmother reminded her that the magic would wear off at midnight. At the ball, Cinderella captivated everyone, especially the prince. They danced all night, and Cinderella felt true happiness. But as the clock struck midnight, she had to flee, leaving behind one glass slipper. The prince, determined to find the mysterious girl who had stolen his heart, searched the kingdom with the slipper, proclaiming he would marry the one it fit. Cinderella's stepsisters tried to squeeze their feet into the slipper but failed. Cinderella, with her heart pounding, tried on the slipper, and it fit perfectly. The prince and Cinderella were soon married and lived happily ever after. Cinderella's journey to happiness was not easy, filled with hardship and obstacles from her stepfamily. Yet, through kindness, courage, and a bit of magic, she overcame all obstacles and found joy. The story of Cinderella reminds us that no matter how difficult life may seem, goodness and perseverance can lead to a happy ending. Once upon a time in a magical kingdom, there lived a brave and kind princess named Aurora, who everyone lovingly called Sleeping Beauty. Aurora lived in a grand castle surrounded by lush forests, where fairies and talking animals roamed freely. Aurora had a special gift. She could communicate with the creatures of the forest through her enchanting lullabies. One sunny morning, Aurora decided to take a stroll in the forest. As she sang softly, calling upon her animal friends, she stumbled upon a hidden glade. To her surprise, four other princesses were already there, chatting and giggling. There was Princess Lila, the fairy princess with wings that shimmered with every color of the rainbow. Then there was Princess Annalise, a mermaid princess whose tail sparkled like the ocean under the moonlight. Next was Princess Freya, a warrior princess with golden braids and a sword that gleamed like the sun. And lastly, Princess Zara, a desert princess who wore magnificent jewels that glittered with the sands of time. Aurora joined their conversation and learned that each princess had been drawn to the glade by a mysterious force, just like her. They decided to explore the glade together, and soon discovered a shimmering fountain in the center. As they approached, a soft voice emerged from the water. "Welcome, brave princesses. You have been chosen to protect the kingdom of glimmering dreams. Each of you holds a unique power that, when combined, can restore peace and harmony to our world." The princesses marveled at the magical fountain and pledged to unite their strengths. Aurora used her lullabies to calm the winds and guide their way. Lila summoned the power of her rainbow wings to create bridges over rivers. Annalise used her ocean magic to bring water to parched lands. Freya defended their journey with her sword skills, and Zara called upon her desert jewels to light their path in the darkest of times. Their journey was filled with adventure, friendship, and occasional danger, but nothing could stand in their way as long as they worked together. They battled fearsome creatures, solved ancient riddles, and confronted the dark sorceress who threatened the kingdom. In the end, their combined powers triumphed, and the kingdom of glimmering dreams flourished once more. Aurora and her four princess friends returned to the magical glade one final time. The voice from the fountain spoke again. "Thank you, noble princesses. The kingdom is safe because of your courage, unity, and love." With that, the princesses bid each other farewell, each returning to their realms with hearts full of joy, grateful for the friendship and the unforgettable journey they had shared. And so Aurora, the lovely Sleeping Beauty, and her four extraordinary princess friends lived happily ever after, always ready to come together whenever their kingdoms needed them. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there lived a prince who wanted to marry a real princess. He traveled all over the world to find one, but there was always something wrong with each lady he met. They were either too tall, too short, too rude, or too shy. The prince returned home feeling sad and disappointed. One stormy night, there was a loud knock at the castle door. The king himself went to open it. There, standing in the rain, was a young woman. Her clothes were drenched, and her hair was tangled. She claimed to be a princess seeking shelter. The queen, suspecting that she might be a real princess, decided to put her to the test. She invited the young woman to stay the night and prepared a bedroom fit for royalty. The queen ordered the maids to place a tiny pea on the bedstead of 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds piled high. Only a real princess would feel the discomfort of the pea through such layers. The next morning, the young woman joined the royal family for breakfast. She looked very tired. The queen asked how she had slept. "Oh, it was terrible," she said. "I scarcely closed my eyes all night. There was something hard in the bed that has bruised me all over." The prince was overjoyed. Only a real princess could have such delicate sensitivity. He asked for her hand in marriage. The young woman revealed that she truly was a princess and had been seeking her way back to her kingdom when the storm hit. The prince and the princess were married, and they lived happily ever after, with the tiny pea kept in a glass case as a reminder of their fortunate meeting. Once upon a time, in a tall tower surrounded by dense forest, lived a young girl named Rapunzel. With hair as golden as the sun and as long as a river, she was not just known for her beauty but also for her enchanting garden. One day, Rapunzel discovered that her hair had a magical glow. Intrigued by this discovery, she decided to weave strands of her radiant hair into the soil of her garden. To her astonishment, vibrant flowers sprouted up, each one glowing with a soft, magical light. As night fell, the entire garden shimmered like a field of stars. Every evening, Rapunzel's glowing garden attracted animals from the forest. Birds, rabbits, deer, and even fireflies gathered around to bask in the warmth and light. Rapunzel would sit in the middle of her luminous flowers, surrounded by her furry and feathered friends. She spent her nights sharing stories of faraway lands, brave knights, and magical creatures. One particular night, Rapunzel noticed a small, timid rabbit who hadn't joined the circle. She gently coaxed the little rabbit with a glowing flower, and soon it hopped over, drawn to her comforting smile. "Don't be afraid," Rapunzel whispered. "Here, everyone is welcome." As weeks turned into months, the news of Rapunzel's glowing garden spread far and wide. People from nearby villages began to visit, enchanted by the sight. They brought seeds from their homes, and with Rapunzel's touch, these seeds grew into glowing plants, each unique and beautiful. One evening, as Rapunzel was telling a particularly thrilling story about a mermaid who found a lost city under the sea, a mysterious owl flew down from the sky. It perched on the highest branch and hooted softly, capturing everyone's attention. "Rapunzel," the owl said, "your kindness and your garden's magic have reached the ears of many. But there's something more you should know." The garden grew silent. High in the mountains, there is an ancient tree with flowers that light up the darkest nights. This tree is in danger, and only someone with a heart as pure as yours can save it. Without a moment's hesitation, Rapunzel decided to embark on a journey to save the ancient tree. Her animal friends, loyal and brave, chose to accompany her. The night before she left, she stood in her glowing garden and promised, "I will return, and our garden will shine even brighter." And so, with her animal friends by her side and her glowing hair lighting their path, Rapunzel set off on a new adventure filled with courage, friendship, and magic. On a serene night, under the glow of the full moon, Mulan was awakened by whispers from the past. The spirits of her ancestors had gathered to deliver an urgent message. "Mulan, brave warrior, we need you once more," the eldest spirit echoed through the room. With a heart full of honor and a spirit ready for adventure, Mulan listened intently. Her quest was to retrieve the sacred lotus, a mythical flower that held the power to protect her village from an impending darkness. The journey would be fraught with challenges, but Mulan's bravery was legendary. As she ventured into the enchanted forest, the shadows danced around her, and the night creatures whispered secrets. Her first challenge appeared, a river that roared with a fierce current, impossible to cross. Mulan approached the edge, her eyes catching sight of glowing pebbles beneath the water. Realizing they formed a hidden path, she leapt skillfully from stone to stone, reaching the other side safely. Deeper into the forest, a mist rolled in. Within it, the figure of a wise old owl emerged. Young warrior, to proceed, you must answer this riddle. What can fly without wings? Mulan pondered, and then it hit her. Time, she answered confidently. The owl nodded and disappeared, the mist lifting to reveal a clear path. Her final challenge came when she encountered a fearsome dragon, guarding the sacred lotus. One quiet night in the small village of wooden houses and cobblestone paths, Pinocchio was fast asleep in Geppetto's workshop. Suddenly, a soft, shimmering light filled the room. Pinocchio rubbed his wooden eyes and saw a glowing moonbeam reaching out to him. As he stepped closer, the moonbeam began to speak. Pinocchio, we need your help. Pinocchio, curious and a bit nervous, agreed to follow. The moonbeam whisked him out the window and into the night sky. As they soared above the village and into the forest, the moonbeam explained, a group of toys have lost their way and need to find their way back home before dawn. They soon landed in a clearing where a group of worried toys were gathered. There was Teddy, the brave teddy bear, Lily, the graceful ballerina doll, Max, the clever toy robot, and Rusty, the shy toy car. Pinocchio greeted them warmly. Hello friends, I'm here to help. Teddy stepped forward. We're lost, Pinocchio. We just want to find our way back home. Pinocchio nodded and assured them, don't worry, we'll find the way together. The group set off through the forest, encountering many obstacles along the way. They had to cross a rickety bridge, solve the riddle of a talking tree, and navigate through a maze of flowers. With each challenge, the friends worked together, sharing ideas and supporting one another. As they journeyed, Pinocchio noticed Rusty lagging behind. He went back and asked, "What's wrong, Rusty?" The little toy car replied, "I'm not very fast and I don't think I'm helping much." Pinocchio smiled warmly. "Everyone has a special talent, Rusty. You have to believe in yourself." Just then they came across a wide river. Max's mechanical body was too heavy, and Lily's ballerina shoes were too delicate. Rusty suddenly sped up and declared, "I can help." He used his sturdy wheels to find a safe path across some stepping stones. The friends cheered and crossed the river one by one. Finally, they reached the edge of the forest as the first light of dawn began to break. The toys' home, a small wooden toy chest, was in sight. They all hugged each other, grateful for the adventure that had brought them closer. Pinocchio felt a warm glow inside his wooden chest. "Thank you for showing me what friendship really means," he said. The moonbeam reappeared, now shining even brighter. "You've done well, Pinocchio. Remember, a true friend is always honest and kind." With that, Pinocchio was gently carried back to Geppetto's workshop, where he returned to his slumber. As he closed his eyes, he knew he had made friends for life and had learned the invaluable lesson of honesty and friendship.
Once upon a time, in ancient Greece, lived a mighty hero named Hercules. Known for his incredible strength and brave heart, Hercules was often called upon to save the day. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, an urgent message arrived. The village elders told Hercules about a magical artifact called the Starstone, which could bring great prosperity to their land. But there was a catch. The Starstone only appeared under the light of 1,000 stars, and it was hidden in a cave guarded by mythical creatures. Without a moment's hesitation, Hercules set off on his nighttime quest. The path to the cave was lined with towering trees that whispered secrets of ancient times. As Hercules walked deeper into the forest, a glowing owl named Lyra swooped down and landed on his shoulder. "I will guide you," she said in a voice as soft as moonlight. Lyra's eyes glowed like tiny lanterns, lighting the way through the dense woods. They hadn't gone far when they encountered their first obstacle, a river as dark as ink with fierce currents that whispered and roared. Hercules knew he couldn't swim across, so he used his strength to fell a towering tree to create a bridge. Just as they started crossing, a water nymph arose from the depths, her eyes sparkling like jewels. "Answer my riddle or face the river's fury," she declared. Hercules scratched his head, pondering the riddle. "I am always hungry. I must always be fed. The finger I touch will soon turn red. What am I?" After a moment, he realized the answer was fire. Pleased with his answer, the nymph let them pass safely. On the other side, they entered a field filled with stone statues of brave warriors. To their surprise, the statues began to move. The statues were stone golems, protectors of the cave. Hercules thought quickly and challenged the leader of the golems to a test of strength. Using his immense power, Hercules eventually overpowered the golem, which crumbled into pebbles. Impressed by his courage, the other golems stepped aside. Finally, they reached the cave where the Starstone was hidden. The entrance was guarded by a gigantic, fire-breathing dragon. Instead of fighting, Hercules decided to use his wit. He remembered an ancient lullaby his mother used to sing about the moon. As he sang softly, the dragon's fiery breath cooled, and its eyes slowly closed. It drifted into a peaceful slumber. With the dragon asleep, Hercules and Lyra ventured into the cave. There, resting on a pedestal, was the Starstone, glowing like a piece of the night sky. It was more beautiful than anything Hercules had ever seen. Carefully, Hercules picked up the Starstone, and they made their way back to the village under the watchful stars. The villagers cheered and celebrated Hercules and Lyra's return. Thanks to their bravery and cleverness, the Starstone would bring prosperity to the land. From that night on, Hercules was not just known for his strength, but also his wisdom and kindness.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage situated in the heart of a dense forest, lived 3 bears: Daddy Bear, Mummy Bear, and Baby Bear. One sunny morning, Mummy Bear prepared a big pot of porridge for breakfast, but the porridge was too hot, so they decided to take a walk in the forest to let it cool down. Shortly after they left, a curious little girl named Goldilocks wandered into the forest. She was exploring when she stumbled upon the bear's lovely cottage. Goldilocks knocked on the door, but no one answered, so she pushed it open and went inside. Inside the cottage, Goldilocks saw the 3 bowls of porridge on the dining table. Her tummy growled. First, she tasted the porridge in Daddy Bear's large bowl, but it was too hot. Next, she tried the porridge in Mummy Bear's medium-sized bowl, but it was too cold. Finally, she tried the porridge in Baby Bear's small bowl, and it was just right, so she ate it all up. After finishing the porridge, Goldilocks felt tired and decided to sit down. She sat on Daddy Bear's big chair, but it was too hard. She then sat on Mummy Bear's chair, but it was too soft. Finally, she sat on Baby Bear's chair, which was just right. However, she was too heavy for it and it broke into pieces. Feeling even more tired after the chair mishap, Goldilocks went upstairs to find a place to sleep. She tried Daddy Bear's large bed, but it was too hard. She then tried Mummy Bear's bed, but it was too soft. Lastly, she tried Baby Bear's bed, and it was just right. Goldilocks snuggled into Baby Bear's bed and fell fast asleep. Meanwhile, the 3 bears returned from their walk, ready to enjoy their breakfast. To their shock, they found that someone had been inside their home. "Someone's been eating my porridge," growled Daddy Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mummy Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up," cried Baby Bear. Next, they noticed their chairs had been used. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," growled Daddy Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mummy Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair, and it's broken to pieces, cried Baby Bear. Finally, they went upstairs and found Goldilocks sleeping in Baby Bear's bed. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and here she is, cried Baby Bear. Goldilocks woke up and saw the three bears staring at her. She screamed, "Help!" and quickly jumped out of the bed. She ran down the stairs, out of the cottage, and disappeared into the forest. The three bears never saw Goldilocks again, but they were more careful about leaving their door unlocked. Goldilocks learned a valuable lesson too. Always respect others' belongings. Once upon a time, in a sleepy little village, lived a curious girl named Alice. Alice loved nothing more than to explore and let her imagination run wild. One sunny afternoon, while chasing a playful white rabbit, she stumbled upon a hidden magical rabbit hole. Unable to contain her curiosity, Alice peered inside and suddenly found herself tumbling down into a fantastical world of wonder. She landed in a land where flowers could talk and cats could disappear into thin air. Everything was different and strange. Alice met a variety of peculiar characters, including the grinning Cheshire Cat, who appeared and disappeared at will, giving her cryptic advice, and the hot-tempered Queen of Hearts, who loved to shout off with their heads at the slightest provocation. As Alice wandered through this dreamlike world, she attended an odd tea party hosted by the Mad Hatter, who, along with the March Hare and the Sleepy Dormouse, celebrated unbirthdays, days that were not their birthdays. Throughout her adventures in Wonderland, Alice kept growing and shrinking in size depending on what she ate or drank. A bottle labeled "Drink Me" made her shrink, while a cake that said "Eat Me" made her grow. She had to navigate these bizarre changes to find her way through the land. One of the most confusing and thrilling parts of her adventure was a game of croquet played with flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The rules kept changing, much to Alice's consternation. Ultimately, Alice's journey through Wonderland was a blend of whimsy, confusion, and delight. It challenged her way of thinking and taught her to approach problems from multiple angles. Just as things became overwhelmingly chaotic, Alice suddenly woke up to find herself back in her village, the midday sun shining on her face. She realized it had all been a fantastical dream, yet the vivid memories of Wonderland stayed with her, making her everyday world just a bit more magical.
One starry night, Aladdin was wandering in the desert, chasing the cool evening breeze. As the clock struck midnight, something extraordinary happened. A whimsical market appeared out of nowhere, glowing with colorful lanterns and bustling with excitement. Curiosity sparked in Aladdin's eyes, and he couldn't resist exploring this magical place. As Aladdin strolled through the market, he saw stalls selling enchanted carpets, talking animals, and shimmering potions. Each vendor had a unique story to tell. Among them, he noticed a small, teary-eyed child named Zara, who seemed lost and scared. Aladdin's heart went out to Zara, and he crouched down to talk to her. "Hi there, I'm Aladdin. Are you lost?" he asked gently. Zara nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I can't find my family. They were here just a moment ago." Determined to help, Aladdin took Zara's hand. "Let's find them together," he said confidently. They began their search, weaving through the enchanting stalls. They passed by a fortune teller, who smiled and told them, "Sometimes, what you're looking for is closer than you think." With renewed hope, they continued their quest. Along the way, they encountered a mischievous monkey who tried to snatch Zara's hat. Thinking quickly, Aladdin used his charm to calm the monkey and retrieve the hat. Grateful, Zara smiled and hugged Aladdin. After what felt like an eternity, they heard a familiar voice calling Zara's name. It was her family. Overjoyed, Zara ran into their arms. Aladdin felt a warm glow of accomplishment. Before disappearing back into the desert sands, the market gifted Aladdin a small, magical trinket as a token of gratitude for his kindness. As the market vanished with the last stroke of midnight, Aladdin knew that the memory of the midnight market and the joy of reuniting Zara with her family would stay with him forever.